Hey, yay, yay. What's happening, people? What's going on? This is your great brother, Nubian King, once again on the airways for you. Just want to come on tonight and just kind of chop it up with you, talk a little bit, because I know there's a lot going on in the world and everybody's like, whoa, what the smoke? Anyway, you know, um, I don't want you to be, get too stressed out over what you see taking place because it ain't over with. Even though, we see a lot of drama going on in the world in different countries, people are protesting and doing all type things like that. Don't let it, get you to a point where, you're like stressed out and you're concerned and it's got you losing sleep at night because of the fact that it ain't all just what they saying it is. I've said it before, and it seemed like it's really, coming true that, man, it looked like there is a non-human presence on this planet that does not have the best interests of humans at hand, and I'm just saying that by the things that you see taking place that are actually detrimental to the health and welfare of human beings on this planet. It's like everything that you see they do has a negative detrimental effect on humans. It's always something that is not good for humans. Either the food they producing, the chemicals that they're producing, the vaccine that they're producing. It's like something within the last few years, 25, 50 years, in that window has caused their mind to go to an incredible worse place. And some of these things I've often said, I don't give this bandit that kind of credit to have done that. Take one, for instance, the cell phone. Okay. Think about this. One day we were punching we was using the telephone that it was rotary. You dial, put your finger in the hole, turn the circle. A lot of young folks don't know that. They really never even grew up. They never even saw a rotary telephone that was on the analog circuit. So, they actually growing up in the digital world. Like I have a 4-year-old grandson. He know how to use a cell phone. I have a 9-month-old grandbaby girl. She crawls over and get the cell phone and pick it up. And that same 4-year-old grandson has the parents bought him a digital watch that you can call. Sometime I call him, and so this is the world that he's growing up in. Now, the point I'm making about I don't give them that type of credit to have that type of intellect to go from the rotary phone over to the cell phone. Now, follow me. When I was born, that was the rotary phone. Okay. And that stayed for years. And then when I became a teenager, 16, 17, 15 years like that, we had the introductory of the digital phone, the push button. Okay. And they call that digital. Well, that phone was still on the landlines, that they had the cable laid in the ground where the signal was transmitted and the call would take place. It'll come from your phone to the wire of the cable on the ground and through wherever and get over to the router where it needed to be, the circuit, and go on to where the call needed to get to. Well, one day, okay, we pushed the button, the digital, and that looked real cool. I remember using the digital phone, so much that I actually remember people's phone number by the pattern. Everybody's phone had a particular pattern. And that's how I remember phone numbers, by the patterns, on the digital dialer. Okay, cool. So, we dialing on the phone, we making phone call, we pressing the button, no big deal. It wasn't a real big change in the way we made phones call. It was just really the dial pad went from the round circular to the push button. And that was from analog to digital. So the difference in the design was not that far apart. Because why? The cable was still in the ground. Computers were still there. They just changed from analog to digital and then gave you the push button. We still talking. And so, boom, one day, Steve Jobs is standing on the stage introducing the iPhone touchscreen, something the world had never seen. There were no touchscreens that we knew of until we saw the iPhone. Now, this is what I'm saying. From the push button touch phone and calls having to be made by cables in the ground or either, cables up there on the pole, the telephone pole. And now just this device in your hand, you can call anywhere on earth right now. They cut the wire and gone in the air. Now, the point I'm making is that particular jump was incredible. Okay, you say, look, the progression of the telecommunication, you all remember that we used as children, I did this as a child. We got a can and it was like maybe a pickle can. We cut the top off of it, put a little hole in it, and we ran a string through it, tied it, and then we did another can, and it may be 4, 5, 6 feet over there. And then my friend would talk into his can. I put mine to my ear and try to hear. That was like, a form of communication. I don't even remember if we ever heard anything, but that's something we saw and we tried it. And it more or less like it was a game to us. But anyway, the telephone cable stayed in the ground for years. Then it went, like I said, it went from analog to digital, from the rotary dial pad to the push button digital pad. Then all of a sudden, boom, we holding the iPhone. And the iPhone came with apps and all these different type of capabilities. So that device actually was a way to communicate vocally and visually, but also you could do many other things. So that was like a handheld computer on a miniature scale that had incredible power. So it's like you got a handheld device that can do a mind-boggling amount of things for you. And it's like, bam, overnight. So what I'm saying, we didn't see the progression of elevation from the digital landlines to something else. We went from the dinosaur world to ultra modern alien technology overnight. Then now we got the pads and touch screen, everything. That one big jump. That's why I say, I don't give them that much credit, because those people that teach the history of this European being from caves and the rock piles of Europe and all that kind of stuff. How do you come from that to the cell phone, to push button, to digital, to wireless? You understand? I don't give it that much credit. And then you have what you call the GPS system, which is the global positioning system, which is 24 satellites circling the earth on 12 different flight patterns. Okay. And so that's like 2 satellites per flight pattern. It's 12 and they circumference the earth, and you can find anything you want that can be connected to the GPS anywhere on the planet. Mountains, except down in the water, and they do have certain capabilities. They can communicate underwater now. So this technology, I don't give him that much credit. Hold on one second. What's happening, great sister? No, I'm just doing a video. I sent you a link to come on and chop it up with me. I'm live. You know, I'm doing the video now.
Is that what that was? Okay. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah. Okay, if you hit that link, you can come on. We can talk. Okay.
All right.
All right. Just come on and kick it with me. You know, I ain't got nothing really critical, deep like that. I'm just open discussion, doing a video, laying some thoughts out. Okay.
Well, I want to do no video. I can do audio.
All right. Hit it up. Click it, and then I'll bring you in. We can talk. Okay. All right. That's another great sister. She gonna come on with me, you know, and just chop it up. This tonight is just some thoughts. We just talking, you know. If you want to come in, do that. You're welcome. If you want a video, great. If you want to just do audio, that's still cool too. But anyway, like what I was saying is that this great jump in technology and capabilities, I don't give him that credit because on the other hand, he has been a destroyer, this European coming out of the rock piles of Europe. He's been a great destroyer of things. You understand? So how is it that, you know, you can claim to be such an incredible creator of things and you destroy so much? You understand? It don't work like that. Just like they say, you know, a leopard can't change his spots, you know. So I don't give him that kind of credit. And see, to make that type of jump from the digital analog cable in the ground phone to the iPhone, I'm gonna send her a message right quick so that we can get in. She's a very powerful sister, got a lot of information, a lot of good information. You know, I like to talk to her and see what she had to say. And great sister Tirsa.
Greetings.
How we doing?
Doing great.
All right, this is a great friend of mine, and Sister Tirsa, she has jumped on and chop it up. I'm just really starting out talking about how I don't give this particular Euro Gentile credit for being able to come up with all these sophisticated inventions and creation and technologies, because of the fact that when you look at the cell phone, for instance, if you want to be seen, you can just lay it face down so the camera don't pick up nothing. If that's good for you, there you go. And so anyway, you know, I was just explaining, we jumped from the digital landline phone to the iPhone, like overnight. And it's touchscreen. And it has so much capabilities that I question his ability to do it. Because why? He has been a destroyer of this world time and time again. And we know the history. Some people know the history. And, you know, I can't say he stood up there who has been a destroyer and created this incredible, magnificent piece. You look at what he's done. You look at what he's doing today. It's so many people on this world stressed out because of this this virus situation. And it has so much confused information around it. You have to think and question what the smoke is going on. You know, we look back over history and we see all these other viruses that's been out and the way they dealt with it. And it had nowhere near the confusion that this thing has. Now, I just saw a report. This guy, last name King, up in Canada, had won this case in court and actually had these people to admit that they have not isolated this so-called virus. And this guy, he came on and he broke it down in about 17 minutes how Only thing he did, he got a $1,200 ticket, I think, for not wearing a mask or some small thing that he got. And he went to court. And the way he fought it is he said that you all have to prove to me that you have isolated this virus. And so he's into biology. He knows biology and virology and all that stuff. And he knew the technical understanding and he knew the legal understanding because he'd been trained in both. And he said, okay, y'all give me this fine because I didn't. But what I need for you to do is show me your proof that you have isolated this virus. You see, that's something nobody knew. And that's definitely information they didn't want the people to know. The virus that they claim is out has never been isolated. And so based upon that, he was able to legally get them to erase all of those restrictions they was putting on these people in Canada. And then he went on to explain in further detail how other nations can do the exact same thing. And so all of this drama is going on because of one or two or a handful of very evil individuals that want to create a world that they are in total control and domination. And all of these people running around the world stressed out and tripping and don't know what to do. And you know, in America, they are not telling the full story. They're still telling people that this thing is completely safe and harmless and you need to take the vaccine. But if you're an individual that's been paying attention, you should be able to predict how they're going to do this. The first round, they said, get vaccinated. Then, oh, well, you get vaccinated, you still catch it. And now they're coming back with this Delta variant talking about it. The pandemic is those that's unvaccinated. But in other countries, especially in European countries, it's showing that the greater majority of the people are actually vaccinated. They're the one that's winding up in the hospital. So the bottom line, you have got to be able to disseminate between all of the noise, all of the information, and all this that's going on in the world today, because this is not the only thing we're dealing with. You're looking at the governments around the world, how so many people are upset and protesting for various reasons. It seems like this planet is under an attack. And so tonight, you know, I just want to throw out some thoughts for you know, you to listen to, think about, and consider. Now, another point that you don't hear them talk about is the birth rates of the European people on the planet. Those individuals that, you know, we call white people. The birth rates of those people are at extreme low, negative. Meaning like yesterday, 1,000 from their race would die, and today only 700 are born. So that means they short 300 individuals, and that trend is constant. Some people have heard that in America, they predict by the year 2025, 2030, something like that, they know exactly when Europeans in America, white people, will be the minority. Also, they know, if not all white people out there, the ones that know, they are clear that they are at an extreme deficit in the birth rate. So if they could calculate what year they're going to be the minority in America, they also can calculate what year they're going to be extinct off this planet. Kaboom. That's something that would be a great motivator to some people that are evil and jealous hearted. You take an example, like if you've seen this history of this European, everywhere he go, he leaves a trail of death and destruction. Okay. So since that's been his legacy, that's been his history, that's been his mode of operation, his MO, then it would be reason to think that this is a wild beast. This is an evil cat. You know, this European, wow, he has a record. So since he realized that his birth rate is at an extreme low, and he know what year in America they're going to be the minority, and he also knows what year he's actually going to be extinct. With that character that he has, projected throughout the history, when you think that he would be angered to realize that he's on the way out the door and nothing he can do about it. So it's like, okay, you have some people to be selfish, self-centered, spoiled, rotten, and just bad people. They say, okay, if I can't have it, ain't nobody gonna have it. So that means if I can't live, ain't nobody gonna live. Next thing you know, people dying of the vaccine. Great Sister Tirsa, you got something to comment in this little open discussion?
That's a juicy opening discussion. Boy, where do I pipe in at?
Hold up before you start. Is this music too loud in the background?
I can't hear it.
Okay, good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was thinking when you were talking, boy, how we're all creatures of habit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know someone that has an adversarial spirit against you, it could be individual, it could be collectively. And it's a battle that you're in with this person for years upon years. I mean, you generations upon generations have fought the same battle against the same adversarial spirit or person or whatever you want to think it is. At some point, wisdom's going to say, well, let's study the patterns of this enemy so we can defeat this enemy. So as you're talking, you were talking about how he has a history of divide and conquer, a history of destruction, a history of pillage and stealing and killing, and all the blood that has been shed across from continents to continents. It's a history. And it's a history that even you, the person the history is about, you can't shake that history because that's all you know. So that's proven. It's proven that we know that there are governments and confederates that have agreed on one consent to bring forth their will in order to stay in power. Because if I know that I'm being eliminated and that my birth numbers are dwindling, yes, I'm going to go into a panic mode. I'm going to try to do things to preserve that life. And some things, and it's funny because I've always wondered the whole census thing. This year, they went really hard on the census thing. I mean, they went hard, full force. I've seen them out this year more than any other year. And they come, every couple of years. But this year, they were really strong about counting them numbers. They came to my door, I'm sure, 2-3 times. Ain't nobody home.
About the census, right?
Yeah, about the census. And I'm like, if the purpose of the census is to make sure that monies given to each county will be spent appropriately. That's what the definition of the census is. So we know how many people live in the city, how much resources should be sent to the Fulton County versus another county over here. We know all that stuff. That's what the definition is. What they say the census is for. But as we know, when it comes time for that money to get disseminated, some counties get left out, or you get the bottom of the barrel. That's just the way it's set up. It's set up to link you in, to make you believe that it's for one thing, when in actuality, it's for something that's totally, totally different. So now we have this virus on the land. And just thinking in the way that this whole thing was rolled out from start to finish. And we know that every year we have a flu season, we have an allergy season. Every year these two things come about, for as long as I've known it. And for some reason, there was no flu season this year. They barely talk about allergy season this year. What happened to those two anomalies that happen every year?
Every year.
So then you backtrack and you say, okay, the virus is here, and wear your mask and this, that, and the other, and all of these stipulations. But then the information that's being disseminated doesn't come out in a way that a government should put it out.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a fire down the street, and I'm in a building, and the building is on fire to the right hand side, which is up the street, and you come and tell me the story. Oh well, it's a fire down there, but you don't have to leave your house. You don't have to worry. You can just stay here, and it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm not going to seem as attentive to that fire because you're telling me it's down the street. It's not a threat. Blah 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 blah. You know. You're not going to be as serious about the information spirit you're being given. So then you think in terms of, okay, so then now you say, oh, no, it's a fire and it's coming this way. But there's no smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So the information that's being given out doesn't come out with clarity. Now if this virus is that serious, then the information should come out in the same manner. So at the time, we had the orange man in the office. And anything coming from his office is going to be static. It's going to be information, but it's going to be static. You're not going to be able to hear it all. You have to kind of like dance in between the raindrops, which is kind of where I am now. That you watch the news or you hear news, you gotta kind of take it in, but go research the other side of that opinion. Because in between the two opinions is where the truth lies. Truth isn't coming out in its clearest form. Actually, I can hear music now in the background. I can hear music in the background.
It's too loud?
Yeah, turn that down a little bit. So it's not going to come out with clarity. Truth is always absolute. When the truth come out, you hear it, you know it, you understand it. You're like, okay, I get it. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So with this virus thing, we believe it. We believe in the science. Everything that they're saying is, well, believe in the data and the science. But if all the information is coming from people that's from one organization, I can't trust it because you all work for the same people. The information should be consistent, and it should be understandable. It should be where I can go and research it myself and gain my understanding and then come in line with that thought. But that's not the way it's being done. So you have a virus, and you say it came out of Wuhan, China, but not so fast, not so fast. We have there's a lab here in the States, Fort Detrick, that people need to research, where rubella, where Ebola was created. That same lab had a robbery, a break-in, and a virus was stolen from that lab.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what they say. That same virus was AKA so-called released in the Wuhan, China market. See, but the thing that I find inquisitive and troubling is that when that happened to China, China immediately put up a huge makeshift hospital and treated everybody who was treated. They got that virus under control in no time. China is back up 100%. China has no restrictions, no masks. They're back up 100%.
Business as usual.
Business as usual. If it started in Wuhan, China, and moved throughout the country, and are now in other countries and other states, why have those other places not recovered? They haven't recovered because they were not prepared. They were receiving misinformation from the left, from the right. People didn't know what was going on.
Right.
We lost our mind. We started collecting toilet paper. What is toilet paper going to do?
That's crazy. I remember that was like everybody running around, Get the toilet paper. Get the toilet paper. It's like, wait a minute. Am I nuts or they nuts or what the smoke you gonna run around
ridiculous.
sweating about toilet paper?
Ridiculous. So then you think in terms of, okay, why did they react that way so quickly? Why were they so prepared? Now, when the SARS virus came out, that came also out of that China was targeted with that SARS virus. They learned when that SARS virus, because they figured out that SARS virus was genetically engineered, meaning that it was man created, and they were targeted for that SARS virus. So they knew at some point that they would be targeted again with something else. They were prepared. So you say, okay, well, who would target them? Who would target them? But there's a shift going on in the earth. There's a great shift going on in the earth. I know that things are tied to money. Always. Money equals power. Money equals, when you control the media, when you control all of the outlets, you can say anything. You could say tomorrow the sun's going to be orange. And people would believe it because they're hearing it on the radio, they're hearing it on YouTube, they're hearing it on the internet. They say your history predicts your future. We just have to go back and read and comprehend our history, and we will see all the characters come to play. We will see all of the shifts. If you go back in history and see how all the dynasties fell, they first fell. The first thing that fell was the morality. When any society's morality falls, that's the first sign of destruction that is to come. And then we pull back and we look at America. The morality in America has gone. And morality. They see it. They see it because once the morality has gone, that's the only fiber that's linking you in place. Once the immorality comes up, everything else is.
Hello? It seemed like Sister Tears had dropped out. See what happened, if I can get her back. Dropped out on that powerful point about morality. Yeah, that's so true. When morale of the people gone. All right, let me tell her to
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
so the morality, once any government, any particular people lose the moral compass, that is the killer sign that there's destruction to come. That's your fiber. That's the fiber that links you. That's the ink to the cotton to make that cotton red. You don't have those two together, you can't have red cotton. So what we have is a struggle for a balance. There's no balance now. Everything is, you can be whatever you want to be here in America. If you're black and you want to be white, then there's
no problem.
There are forces that will allow you to get there. I saw a European man, young man, who decided that he wanted to be Chinese. He went ahead and got the surgery to his eyes. Now he looks Chinese, and he is living his life as a Chinese man, as a Chinese transgender. I digress. A Chinese transgender. So he not only does he not feel like he is European, he feels like he is not man and he is not woman. So in a world where you can be anything, you better be righteous. Because other than that, you will fall prey to the forces that tell you you can be anything. But you don't see a cat out here trying to be a dog. You don't see a horse trying to act like he is a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
We come into the world into the skin that we're supposed to be in. You can't go back and say, okay, the Most High, the creator of heaven and earth, was wrong. I wanted blue eyes and he gave me brown eyes. I didn't order these brown eyes. I wanted blue eyes. Let me go change them. What? That's part of the morality standhold you're supposed to have.
Wow.
You come in life with what you've been given, and you make the best of it. The big girl want to be a skinny girl. The skinny girl want to be a fat girl. The guy want to be a girl. The girl want to be a guy. We all. It's chaos.
Sad.
And mayhem. It's
and
not
confusion.
Even organized chaos. It's chaos and mayhem. Period.
You know, on that note, you know, everything on this planet is still in its original created state. Everything on this planet is still in its original created state from whenever the beginning was. Everything on this planet is still in its original created state and are doing what it has been doing since the day it was created, except
say that
mankind.
Again. Say that again.
Everything
please.
On this planet is still in its original state and doing what it's been doing since the very day it was created, whenever that was, except mankind. Mankind. When you look at the animals, for instance, the animals to this day are doing exactly what they have been doing all the time, and nothing has changed. Let's take something as simple as water. When the animal get thirsty, how much do they pay for a cold pack of beer that they, quench their thirst with? I mean, because, since it's animal and it's so many, don't they get a discount on cold beer when they get thirsty? Huh? I mean, you mentioned the horse, but when the horse get thirsty, what's his favorite bar he pull up to and knock off whatever his drink is? This creation is still doing what it's done since the day it was created, except mankind. Did it ever dawn on you that every single existence on this planet that need liquid has only drank water since the very day? Every single animal on this planet, when it get thirsty, is looking for water. Not ice cold water, you know what I'm saying? Not fruit flavored water, not vitamin water, but just water out of a river or a lake. That's it. But mankind, when man get thirsty, they looking for every damn thing else. Their favorite drink. I'm gonna tell you this little story. I was out with a friend of mine in Texas, and it was hot, and we riding along there, and she said, "Whew, I'm thirsty. It's hot. You hot?" I'm like, hey, it feels good. See, I had been in Israel 25 years straight and hadn't been back to the States. So this heat over here and sun, you adjust to it. Like we have practically 12 months of sun. Even in the wintertime, it's not as bad as it is, over there. But anyway, I'm in Texas. It's hot, summer, August, and we riding on. And sister say, "Man, I'm so hot. I'm thirsty." She said, "You want something to drink?" So we whooped off into, I think it was a Circle K or some little convenience spot. And I'm like, well, I ain't really thirsty, but, I could get a drink. So we whooped off up in there, went inside. And when you walk straight in the place, you had the soda fountain, the Coke, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, Orange, Sprite. And then as I was walking behind her, she stopped at the soda fountain. I hung a left and went to the refrigerator, and I was looking for a particular water called Fiji water. The reason why is because through the research, Fiji is supposed to be the better water, especially from the Aquafina that's by Coca-Cola. And then I've seen so many different researchers on bottled water that the bottled water is actually tap water that they selling people. Nevertheless, I went and found the Fiji water. And by the time I came back, she had got this cup that was so big. I stopped and was staring at it like Shazam. You know, because you gotta remember, I've been in Israel 25 years, so the whole country done flipped. You know, my people are speaking English, but I don't understand what they're saying. You know, it's so much slang and it's so much that don't mean what they saying. You saying the English word, but that ain't what they really mean. So it took me a minute to learn how to communicate with my people in the English language. And so, you know, it's like me waking up Rip Van Winkle. And so she's standing there filling up this cup that was so big. I'm like, Shazam, that's a big cup.
Super size.
Woo! And I'm saying to myself, you know, I've been vegan for all them years. And, you know, the human stomach ain't but so big. And I never remember this human stomach being as big as that cup. And I'm like, she gonna drink all that? so I'm standing there. I'm like, damn. But here's the thing. She put Sprite in it. She put orange. She put Mountain Dew. She put Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper. And she just kept going back and forth, putting a little until it finally got full. So she put a top on it, a straw, went to the counter, paid for it. I paid for my Fiji water, and we went on. And so she drinking, and we riding along, listen to the music. And I said, so what's the name of that drink that you got? Because normally if you put Coca-Cola in that, then I know it's Coca-Cola, right? She said, oh, they call this a suicide. Dang. A suicide. Woo-wee. And so,
that's definitely that
really, that was really unique, because I'm saying to myself, being vegan for all these years, that one thing you do not drink is soda drinks. You do not drink, Coca-Cola, Sprite, orange, because those drinks are so full of chemicals, 100% chemical with the dab of water in it, sugar, chemical, carbonated, water, more chemical, sugar. We saw this study. Yeah, we saw this study that had been done by Coca-Cola. It was almost half the container of white sugar. And so, that point that you was making about how terrible and the soul is gone and the understanding of the people, I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that it's gotten that deep. And then it's a sad state of affairs when I see my family members at that level. See, that's the thing that I be, touched by. It's just how bad my people have dropped off. And when I went back to the States, I saw things that I didn't think that I would ever see. Not only that incident with the suicide drink, I was sitting in my cousin's house watching the TV, and it was a dance program they was looking at. And this sister had a baseball cap with sequin letters on the front of it. It read HOE. Now you have to consider it. Okay, you know that, but remember, I've been in Israel 25 years. When I left America still had a soul, morals and values and standards and self-respect, self-esteem. And so, like you saying here tonight, they soulless, no morals. When I left America, if you call a sister a hoe, you had better be ready to fight.
For sure.
For sure. When I left America in 1981, coming to Israel, if you called a sister a hoe then, you ready to throw down, because you was gonna get it. Ain't none of that. And then, it wasn't no tight, what they call lip spandex. What they call those pants that you see those sisters wear?
It's spandex.
That they wear spandex. Okay. It wasn't no spandex at all.
I call it the WWE wrestling outfits. That's what they look like.
Okay. It wasn't none of that, right? And so I'm sitting there watching this show, and I'm looking at the sister hat. It was a black cap, they call them snapbacks. It was a black snapback, and on the top of it was the letter HOE in sequence, silver little, sequence, silver like button. And it formed the letters HOE. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, what does that mean? HOE, and I just, I couldn't, I thought it was an acronym or something like JOB, job, JOB means
it's a job, all right. It's a job,
you know
all
what I'm saying? It means just over broke job, so I'm thinking HOE, JOB, what's the meaning of these three letters on a hat? HOE. And JOB, just over broke. What's HOE? Here or and then I asked my cousin, I say, hey, what that sister with the letters HOE on a hat, what does that mean? What does that mean? They sit there like, what? Hold, and I'm like, oh snap, hold. I'm like, for real? Yeah, where you been? I've been in Israel. So it was just a shock to know that a sister will be comfortable with the word hoe on a hat.
Well, and look at today.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, look at today where, a stripper used to be a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Strippers now, you got Cardi B. She's a world famous rapper. She's a known former stripper. She said, I ain't got to dance. I had to make money moves now. So that's the difference. That's back to that moral compass there. I'm not walking around with no hat with no HOE on it because that's a representation of my spirit. Mm-hmm. But as you see by the way the young lady's addressing today, everything is supersized, like that lady's drink. It was supersized. Who wants to have a cup that big with all of that in that cup? It's supersized. Even McDonald's, supersized fries, supersized, and it's still only $1. Something's got to tell you that anything that people tell you is free, you got to question that. Nothing is free. This is 2021. Nothing is free. So you got a family meal. Now there are families that are struggling, yes. So they go to McDonald's because they can get a whole meal for 6 kids, 2 parents, for about $15, and it's a deal. But anything that's a deal like that, you better read the warranty label. The warranty label says,
for you.
The warranty label says you might feel full, but you're not giving your body any nutrition.
Right.
Whoa, no nutrition.
Right. Mm-hmm.
No, you're not benefiting from the bread. You're not benefiting from the lettuce. You're not benefiting from the meat that has fillers in it. You're not benefiting from none of those things.
Whoa. Let me ask something. Hold up. I don't mean to cut you off, but you said meat. Let me just say this for you right quick. Did you see the article where the worker at McDonald's was dumping some chicken nuggets in the fryer, and one fell on the side, where the stainless steel at? You got the heat from the vat of grease. You got the lights, above that. And so he needed to go in the back and get another bag. So when he went in the back, that one chicken nugget had fell on the side of the stainless steel deep fryer. He went in the back to get another bag. When he came back, that chicken nugget had melted into a little gob of yellow, gooey, sticky like stuff. What? And so the boy told about it, and he went on social media and said, wow, this chicken nugget melted. And so the thing was, it's supposed to be, now meat don't melt. Meat will rot, it'll cook, or you can boil it, but it ain't gonna melt. This boy said that daggone chicken nugget melted into a gooey gob of yellow gook under that heat.
And
Okay,
that's a great point too.
but when you take
Because
it, out of the heat, out of the grease, boom, it's like chicken nuggets. Go ahead with your thought. I just want to throw that in there.
because you said it melted like a glob. So that made me
Glob. Yeah.
think about mucus. Now, to those that are listening and who may come listen to this at a later time, the body that we've been placed into, this machine, is self-correcting. It will correct itself if it has the right fuel. You can't take a Lamborghini and put regular gasoline in a Lamborghini. It'll break the car's fibers and the engine down because that fuel is inferior to the car that has to run at that highest state. So that's your body. You're thinking about your body. So whatever you put in your body is whatever your body's going to return to you. So if you're not drinking enough water, your body's going to take the water in your body, i.e., your organs, your liver, your heart, your lungs. It's all of those organs in your body stores water. When you don't drink water, it goes to those organs and it takes a little bit that it needs. And it's going to take a little bit more and take a little bit more. And then you're going to start coming with all these diseases because your organs are aging faster than you are. That's just one point. So the second point I wanted to make was this. A virus, when it enters your body, let's just say a cold. You catch a cold. The purpose of that cold is the virus is to come into your body and your body's going to immediately say, oh, there are some foreign entities in the body. It's going to send a troop to go figure out where those enemies are. Once the troop meets that virus, it's going to say, listen, you got to go because you don't belong up in here. We don't know you. We don't know nothing about you. We don't even like what you look like, what you smell like. You're going to go. Your body's supposed to usher it out of your bloodstream into your urine, and within 24 hours, it should leave your body.
Be gone.
What makes that virus stay for the party is if it has friends there. And the friends that it needs to have is the friend that's called mucus. Mucus helps it to stay still in your body. When it can stay still, it can now multiply, mutate, transform. So if your diet is full of mucus, i.e., shrimp, lobsters, clam, what else? What else is there?
Tilapia fish, chicken, pork,
chickens, the fish,
pig,
the pork, pig,
meat,
all of these
beef,
things,
steak.
if you leave them out on the counter, the worms come out of them. So you think, wait a minute, if I leave chicken out and worms come out of it, go ahead.
Go ahead. Continue your thought.
Okay, so if I leave my chicken out on the counter and worms come out of that chicken, ew. First of all, ew, double ew. And I eat it. So that tells me if I eat that chicken, that those worms go into my body also. But back to the whole mucus thing. So clams, if you put clams in a dirty water, a tank of water, within a couple minutes, the water becomes clean. Because those animals that sit on the bottom of the ocean, that is the Earth's filtration system. Now, clams specifically, the inner part of that clam is made of what? Mucus. The water enters the clam, it goes through the mucus cleanses, the mucus holds all of the dirty water and releases the clean water. So, but nobody's talking about let's alter our diets while all this virus stuff is going on. No one's saying, hey, if you get rid of the mucus in your body, you won't be able to catch a cold, i.e., you won't catch a virus. So if the health organization is so good for us and has so much information for us that is valuable, why is no one talking about your diet, what you're putting in your mouth? Suspect. Very, very much suspect, because what you're eating is going to determine how you're living. Now, and I am determined for this. I'm determined to be an elder, but to be a healthy elder. I don't want to be on a cane and I'm on these medications and I got to take this. I am reliant upon a system that is not for me. I want to be healthy. I'm not going to be out there running no marathons, and I want to be healthy and functioning.
Right. Right.
I don't want to be elderly and now all of my systems are breaking down. I got to wear a diaper. I got to do this. I
Right.
can't.
Right.
I got to wear panties that diaper panties because
Right.
my urine doesn't have window. What? I don't want to do that. I don't want to
Right.
be that.
And especially when you don't have to.
Right.
You know, that's the whole issue. And you know, it's really powerful that you brought that up, because I got a friend that just got out of the hospital from having a implant placed in the heart, the pacemaker. Now, you saying that, and I agree. And I'm not willing to do the things that they say you do to cause that. I would rather eat the tomato or the cucumber and go work out or take a cleaning out than to keep eating those things you just mentioned that will rot, or you sit it out and it have, you know, worms and stuff coming out of it. I'd rather go with the tomato, the onion, and the vegan products, because we see the difference of those that do and those that don't. And so this friend of mine, you know, made a statement while she was in the hospital that really opened the door to the thinking and the reasoning behind, you know, some individuals, if not most of them, as to why is it that you can tell them these things and they don't internalize it, and you know, they hear but don't hear. Like, you know, the old man say, boy, when you hear, you hear me? And then if you keep on doing it, he said, boy, you ain't hear me. I'm telling you what to do. You ain't hear me. And so the old man says that when you hear, you do. Okay, so you got all these people running around that's sick, laid up in the hospital. And then they're in the hospital not because they got broken bones or they got sprained ankle or scraped elbow. They're in the hospital because of what they have what they have eating, the way they've managed their body. And so this friend of mine was in the hospital and I was talking with her, and she said, man, I never thought that I would end up here. And so just that one little statement really opened the door as to the thinking of some individuals that don't take those precautions serious. Okay. So I turned 60 July 24th, 2021 this year. And like you're saying, you don't want to be on crutches and walkers and all of that. And you don't have to be. If you would adhere to certain dietary standards and certain health practices, exercising, cleaning your system out periodically, your blood, lungs, liver, kidneys, and those things, then that's not a 100% guarantee that you'll be good, but it lowers the potential of you going through those degenerative diseases tremendously.
Right.
At 60, the doctor told me, I was 55 I was 45 in Florida. And I did a blood analysis, sent my blood to the lab, and a hormone specialist analyzed it. And he called me and he told me that, he do not have to speak to people, because he's the guy in the lab to analyze all the blood that gets sent to him. He said the very, very rare occasion that I do call people is when I have a problem. And so when he said that, I kind of got a little nervous. I'm like, wow, then why you call me? He said, I think I have a problem because for one, the blood that I'm holding in my hand, I just finished analyzing, is that of an 18-year-old healthy African-American male. Now, okay, you know, the blood is like the signature, the fingerprint of the body. You can tell everything, what happened going on with the body through the blood, every single thing. And so when he said a 18-year-old healthy African-American male, he said, but the paperwork is from a 300-pound, 45-year-old African-American male. He said, we have a problem. I said, okay, what's the problem? He said, because if you 300 pounds, that means you're overweight. If you 45 African-American male, you're supposed to have high blood pressure. You're supposed to have diabetes. You're supposed to have, you know, pre-diabetic or prostate cancer, you know. So, I mean, and he said these things as if it was wrong for me not to have it. I mean, it's like you supposed to have this. And so he said, the problem is I'm trying to figure out, you know, what's going on here. He said, and I called you to see if you could help me to understand what's happening. I said, well, first of all, it's my blood. Okay. Secondly, I've been a vegan since I was 17. I don't smoke, don't do drugs, I don't drink, don't do crazy stuff. I exercise a lot. I'm in the gym regular. I clean the system out, and I stay around positive people. I have a beautiful house, you know. And so I ran down those things. He and I talked for an hour and a half. Okay. I was at work. He was at work. We both had time to top it up. And he asked question after question after question. Remember, this guy is a specialist. He analyzed blood to determine whatever he needed to determine. And so we talked, but he asked questions for an hour and a half, and I answered all his questions. And you know what was really unique is when we finished talking, he said, Mr. Crowd, I want to tell you, this has been a life-changing conversation. I am eternally grateful for the time that you've given me, answering the questions I've asked, and I want to say thank you. He said, but I want to let you in on something. I haven't been, you know, all the way open and honest with you. I said, okay, what? He said, my wife is vegetarian, and she has been talking to me for years about changing my diet. I ain't never moved. I ain't never budged. He said, Mr. Crowd, I want to tell you, after listening to you for 1 hour, I want you to know I cannot wait to get home to tell my wife I am vegan. I would never, ever eat a piece of meat, anything from an animal, because I talked to a guy today that his blood told me he done found the fountain of youth.
How about that?
And that was really something. Now, you know, that was 45. 10 years later, I'm back in Israel. I'm working out. I'm lifting weight. I'm 55. I'm in the gym. So at 55 in Israel, that means I was the oldest cat in the gym at that time, at that day. My bench press was 315 pounds, 55 years old, oldest guy in the gym, old enough to be some of them young pups, grandfather, vegan, no meat, no animals, health as a bull. Go to the doctor to check my blood. It's like 120 over 70. One day I went in, it was 130 over 80. They said, oh, you hot. I said, hold it. Let me just sit down and relax, because I've been walking up the step. And so then my blood check for sugar, never above 80. Always 70, 75, 80. 80 is the highest it ever been. And this is the time where managing your diet and taking care of yourself began to pay off. And I am heavily focused on the nutritional aspect of what goes in my mouth, not just what I like. When I wake up in the morning, you know, I make this drink, nutritional, because you got to fuel your body just like your car need fuel to go. Okay, your truck need diesel fuel, so the body need fuel, but you need good sources of fuel. You don't need, like, okay, they say Centrum vitamin. First of all, when you understand how the Creator put food here for us to deal with, the food source for us is source of nutrition. The food for us is within reach. Okay, what is our plane of existence? Under the sky and above the ground. What does that mean? If you're standing on the ground, the sky is above your head. all food source for us is within our reach. So if you're talking about a tree, we can just reach up in tree, grab a mango, grab, an apple, you understand, a pear, or we could get food from the ground. You get a watermelon from the ground, you get potatoes, beans, peas, So our food source is right here where we at in this medium of existence, above the ground, below the air. That's where we at. Now, the food is for our nutrition of our body, to nourish our body. When we get hungry, we don't get hungry because the body say, hey, I want a Big Mac, triple cheese, everything, whatever. No, your body is getting hungry because of the fact that it wants certain nutrients. You may be a little short in B6. You may be a little short in enzyme. You may be a little short in minerals. And so once you put that particular substance in the body that the body needs, cool, you ain't hungry no more. Okay, appreciate it. So what I've been concentrating on for a few years is nourishing the body and seeking out great sources of nutrients. Now, one thing is Dr. Sebi told us about this particular source of nutriment called Hoodia, Hoodia. And he said it's indigenous to South Africa. Well, I had some friends of mine. I had a friend of mine descended from South Africa, my sweetheart there, beautiful, great sister there in South Africa, Queen. Okay, but anyway, she sent it to me, and Dr. Sebi said, if you take this substance, you won't be hungry for 4 days. He said, because why? It delivers so much nutriment that the body needs, and the nutriment are dissolvable by the blood, and it actually goes inside the blood cells to feed the blood cells, and the blood cell nourish the rest of the body. So if you got blood that's strong and healthy, you gonna be strong and healthy. So I started taking this Hoodia, and sure enough, once it hit my system, I hadn't ate in 4 days, and it was something psychologically happening with my mind, because my kitchen was clean. I didn't have any dishes in the sink. I'm like, whoa. And then I had to stop and say, whoa. I was standing in the kitchen laughing, man. I said, wow, I ain't even ate in 3-4 days. I said, this is crazy, man. Because of what? Nutrition. So every day when I wake up and going to work, I make a drink. I have spirulina in it, a maca powder in it, chia seed, flax seed. I have this protein that is a pea protein source, organic pea protein source. And if I want to sweeten it, I use organic sun-dried powdered date sugar. That's what, dates they done powdered, sun-dried, and use. And it's a beautiful taste. And then I put a little tahina in there. Tahina is in America, they call it tahini, sesame seed paste. And I take that in the morning as I'm driving to work. And do you know, I don't get hungry. So what I take now to work is, I may have 200 grams of tofu that I'll, make, and eat some nuts. I always eat my heaviest meal between 10 and 11. So my body can process all my heavy protein. So my body can process it. So when I get home in the evening, I don't even be hungry. I just like to drink. I may drink some fennel tea, or I may drink some I may make some other kind of little drink, or if I do eat, it's a light salad or some steamed string beans or something. But I just wanted to put that in there, sweetie, to just embellish that piece where you said that you don't want to be walking around here on crutches, but it's something we have to do to help lessen that from happening. Not saying that this is the holy grail, and if you maintain this vegan diet, you absolutely guaranteed. But what it is, you absolutely guaranteed to lower considerably the possibility of that happen. Thank you. Sorry to cut in like that.
Oh no, because that was good, a good cutting, because we got to think in terms of sustainability. And I think the problem is that there's a phrase that's called living high on the hog. And what the marketers have realized was that plentiful human behavior, we supplement human behavior when we're sad, We might drink or do drugs, and then we might eat sweets, or we overindulge in America. Basically, America is overfed, over accessibility, because everything you want is at the touch of your fingertips. There's no, they don't have rules of guidance of consumption. Like a lot of these ailments that we're having is because of what we're putting in our bodies. You have the obesity. Now, so you're going to McDonald's, who's known to have steroids in their meat and in the chicken. The chicken are raised on hormones. So if you eat at McDonald's 3, 4, 5 times a week, and your little girl at 9 years old gets her period, that's too young. They said that they were going to give us stuff and tell us it was good. We will give them poison and tell them that it's good and convince them that it's good. How are you going to convince us that it's good? The media. So we lack discipline, especially in the areas of eating. We want to eat whatever we want to eat. And then that same sick mindset goes to the doctors for them to fix us because we want to eat what we want to eat. I.e., case in point, you have a diabetic that knows that he's a diabetic, that has to take shots. But he drinks and eats whatever he wants to eat, and just in his mind, I just take the shot of the insulin, and then it's gonna fix the pain that the body's gonna make me feel after that. That mindset of consumption and then just fixing it by a placebo is what's killing us. The lack of a moral compass, the lack of discipline, and discipline crosses many platforms. Your moral compass, your what you do, and your daily routine as far as hygiene is concerned, as far as how you live in your life. All of those things encompass this moral deficiency, this lack of discipline, all of that. So if you want to get out of a funk that you're in, you got to start changing something. You have to become the ripple effect. You throw a pebble in the pond, and then you see that ripple effect comes from the center, and it goes all the way out. You have to be the one to break the curse. If you have a history of diabetes in your family, you be the one to change up everything. And watch, don't your family members change and start following you because you decided you're the one that break the mold. You stopped believing in what someone was telling you, that it was good and it was actually bad for you. You changed your mindset. You went and researched. You didn't just take the pill and someone tell you, oh, it's going to cure X, Y, Z, and knowing it hasn't cured you for years or centuries. We used to go to the herbal doctors. Those are the first doctors, those herbal doctors, because they lived in those indigenous places. They used the bark of a tree, the pine needles. They used those things that they were around. But when, as the society progressed and they wanted to make money out of things, that's where you got the doctors came out of that. Once the doctors came on the scenes, the herbologists were considered voodoo doctors, taboo. They were given bad names. Oh, that's not certified by the board of doctors. That's how Dr. Sebi got into that little area. He was curing people and putting it out there. And and it was putting a pinch. It was putting a pinch on the medical field. It was making them feel a certain kind of way. And they were like, no, we got to shut him down. They're not going to come to us if they can go to him. But we need to research what the Hippocratical oath is that the doctors take when they become a doctor.
But what is the reason? What's the reason that they even did that in the beginning to shut doctors like Dr. Sebi down and those other natural healers? Why did they do that?
Because it was the truth. He was healing people. And because it's taking money out of their pockets. Listen, in America, pharmaceuticals, I think America is the only continent that is such a reliance on the pharmaceuticals. You cannot sue a pharmaceutical company. You can
Absolutely,
try,
yeah.
but it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Even with this thing we got going on right now, you can't sue them. Once you sign a paper saying that I cannot sue you because it's in its experimental phase. They don't have any statistical data. You are the lab rat. They're testing it out on you. That's why you as a willing participant cannot sue if anything goes wrong. You know, it's a choice, and I'm open to everyone having a choice, but choose wisely. Choose according to historical data. Choose wisely according to where you live. What's been going on? What's your classification? 3/5 of a man still.
Okay, here's the Hippocratic oath. It says the oath dedicates the obligation of the physician to the students of medicine and the duties of pupils to teacher. In the oath, the physician pledges to prescribe only beneficial treatments according to its abilities and judgment, to refrain from causing harm or hurt, and to live an exemplary personal and professional life. Now, I would like to point about this thing where it says the physician pledges to prescribe only beneficial treatments. That's the problem. See, those natural healers were curing people. They cured you of these issues. But these medical doctors of today, they only treat you because treating you keeps you a paying customer.
There you
Keeps you a
go.
patient. And
Gotta
so
come back to the drug dealer.
they don't treat, they don't cure you. Okay, it's like I remember 70, 80 years ago, this guy wife contracted polio. And this is before they brought in all of this regulations and laws and stuff. This guy loved his wife so tough that he did all this research. Now remember, this was before the telephone, this was before the internet, Google, and all of that. So he was sitting in the library for hours a day going through books and reading. But he gained so much understanding on polio, the who, what, when, where, and why, that it came clear to him in his mind that, hey, if this is the cause of polio and this is how polio act, then I should be able to do this to counter it. Sure enough, he came up with a cure, not a treatment. And that man cured his wife of polio. When that got out, other people began to come to him. So what did the business people do in a capitalistic society? They went to the U.S. government and lobbied the U.S. government to make it illegal for any person that does not have a medical license, practitioner license as a doctor to administer any type of treatment or cure to any human. So they cut that off, that you cannot cure people. And so in this Hippocratic oath, it said the physician pledges to prescribe only beneficial treatments, which means we can make you feel good, you know. But you know, and then the other thing that they say all the time is that with this treatment, it helps you to maintain your quality of life. Man, you got to hear that. You got to hear that with this treatment. You know, you can maintain your quality of life. But what? Hold up, wait a minute. What do you mean maintain my quality of life? He's saying that the same crap that you did that got you up in here all sick and screwed up, you can keep on doing it. You ain't got to stop eating the lobster. You ain't got to stop eating the pork. You ain't got to stop eating all them chemicals and things. You can keep, man, if you like, you know, baby beef back ribs, you can go ahead on. You know, I ain't telling you to stop none of that. I'm just saying that, you know, you come here every 2 weeks, let me stick you or do whatever treatment, and you can keep it boogie on down the road. I know a case of an individual that had an opportunity to circumvent getting a procedure that was totally unnecessary, but because of the fact that the doctor said, with this treatment, you can maintain your quality of life, and she wound up sick as all get out. But you know, you can talk to people until you turn blue. And I'm a real dark brother. If I turn blue, that'll be real scary. but
Midnight.
but you know, I mean, my good friend, when she made that statement, wow, when she was laid up there in the hospital, she said, I never thought I would wind up here. That was very, very revealing as to the mindset of people, that you can tell them, hey, there's a cliff, you need to stop. Don't go out there, you can fall off the cliff. Oh man, it don't look like no cliff out there. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Bam. Then they down there hollering, screaming for you to come and help them. And do I go help them? You know, for a time period, I had just stopped talking. I didn't want to talk to nobody. Like, the hell with them, you know. Why am I on here saying these things? I believe because I'm not, you know, I just don't have that quitter give up like spirit. So if it's one person, two people that could benefit from something that I drop on them to cause their mind to think, then okay, so I say it for them. I enjoy sharing things and thoughts with the people. You know, I'm really happy that you had an opportunity to come on and chop it up with me a little bit. And maybe someone, just like you said, if they listen to this and come back a little later and they could get something, you know, from it, yay. But other than that, you know, that's the way it is. And it's a sad state of affairs. You know, I see things, you know, going worse and worse and worse for mankind. But at the same time, I believe that we're in a threshold of change, great sister. I believe that this is not the end. I don't believe that we done. This guy, I had just pulled this link up. This guy went in Alberta, Canada. Hold on one second. I get back to it. He actually went to, I just told you about it. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. He had actually got these people in the government. What was that guy named King? Okay, it's a freedom fighter. I put the link in the chat right quick. Yeah, I put the link in there. I saw this on the Stu Peters show. This guy, Mr. King, his last name is King. He actually went to the court in Alberta, Canada, to tell them that you need to show me that you have isolated this virus, and they couldn't. And now that's why Canada is not having any restriction whatsoever, because the freedom fighter, the court victory in masking, shots, quarantine in Alberta. And then sure enough, you know, they went back to say, no, that wasn't true. That guy, that, you know, that's just propaganda. But you can certainly, the powers that be, they don't want you to know. And that's the same cabal of powers that be, same people that knocked off all 50 natural healers gone in 2-3 years. Wait a minute, these are some of the healthiest people on the planet. What the hell are they doing dying? You know, but that's what's happening. And then when I ball all this up and look at it, and I step back, and I always like to step back and not necessarily look at a picture, but look at a portrait, because you back up and look at a portrait, you can see more. And I personally feel that there is a non-human intellect that's here not for the betterment of the human population on planet Earth, but they more or less want to take this world. And I believe that they are the one that's in control of this world, because when you look and see all of these creation, all of these moves and things that's taking place, it ain't never good for the people. And you can go around the world from country to country and see the leadership, the government, and all these countries, the majority of them has got major issue with the people. Something the leadership is doing that's making the people lives miserable, you know? And so that's why I say they talking about aliens. I remember when Vladimir Putin stood up and told the world that if America don't tell the world about their relationship with aliens, we will. You know, so I don't see all this here as just humans doing these things. You know, all this by the gun, look around the world. You got the fires over in California. You got all this uproar in America over this, that, and the other thing, the virus, the stress, the strife. You got the bandit down in Brazil. Bolsonaro done gave the people the right to go ahead and burn the land up. All those fires that they was talking about a while back. He allowed the meat and dairy company to come in, buy millions and millions of acres, square acres of the rainforest, the Amazon, to grow beef. And so, you know, it takes like, I think what it said, 1 acre to grow a pound of beef and so many tens of thousands of gallons of water. And it's so daggone heavy on the land, it destroys so much of the land to grow the beef cattle. So what they was doing, he deregulated the forest and allowed those beef industries out of America to come in to burn the land so that they can have grazing land for cows to grow meat on. And a lot of the land that they was about to get up on were indigenous sacred land for those different tribes down in Amazon. So they fought and fought, and they finally got, you know, a stay so that they won't come in and destroy their you know, sacred lands. But anyway, with all of this that's going on in the planet, and just like you were saying, the immoralities that you're seeing taking place in the West and all of the stress and strife, I still have a good feeling because I believe that we're in the midst of change. I believe we're in a threshold of change where this world is coming from under the thumb and foot and knee of an evil leadership, rulership, spirit energy to being restored back to a righteous energy. There are more good people on the world, and there are more great places to be. America is not the only place to live. America is just a place to be. America is a place for some people to exist. But in reality, there are more peaceful places on the planet. When you always looking at America, seeing what America doing, you'll get stressed out. You'll be stressed. You just nervous and go to bed all screwed up. But if you don't stop, cut that off and realize that there are places all over the world that are just filled with peace and tranquility. And believe it or not, as bad as they say, you're the white man ain't never going to tell you nothing positive about you being in Africa. They had a group of sociologists that did a world survey of the most peaceful countries on earth. They wanted to find out what countries were the most peaceful countries on earth. And they said, okay, we'll list 10. So they got together and they made a list of points that each country had to be able to, you know, fulfill. And so once they got they list together and their game plan, then they set out and began to analyze country after country after country. And so they checking off the list in each country, you know, they ranked so many different. And so when they finished, they had 10 countries. They said, these are the 10 most peaceful countries on earth. 6 of those countries are in Africa. Kaboom. 6 of them are in Africa. Myself have been in and out of Africa. I know 150 flights. In every single flight I've been on, there have been 95 to 97% white people. One trip in particular, I remember I flew out of Israel, Tel Aviv, Israel, on African, it was Ethiopian Airways. I was flying in West Africa. I was going to Ghana. The flight was leaving out of Israel, made one stop in Nigeria, Lagos. And so when I got on the plane, it was a 150 seat plane. It was me and 3 other African. So it was 4 African people on the plane. The rest, all white people flying out of Israel into Africa on the African airline on a 150 seat craft. There were 146 white people, but they always telling you how bad and terrible it is and how you don't need to go. But every time I got on the plane, it was there. They packed. And then I'm walking down the aisle looking like, man, what y'all doing on here? They looking at me like, what you doing on here? You know, we all going out. So it's something that's not exactly straight that's going on. I just wanted to say that, finish your thoughts, sweetheart. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, you know, with all of that, and in order to start a change in your life, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to do something different, something new, something revolutionary. And in the beginning, it's going to be hard in the beginning. But you got to stay focused on what your goal is. If your goal is to have a better life, better sustainability, then that change needs to happen. And start with one thing. Start with just drinking more water every day, and watch your health turn around. Then after you get that drinking that water every day, getting your body hydrated, then go to the next thing. Okay, I'm gonna eat more salads, and on and on. You have to just continue doing those things that are gonna be sustainable for you to have a healthier life, um, and an even better eldership. Because, like I said, you don't want to be an elder and you can't walk. You're in a wheelchair. You're dependent. That's just not the last moments of my life I want to think about, is being in that state where and I'm hospitalized, I'm in a nursing home, and I don't want to. So I want to maintain my lifestyle as it is now, to be healthy, um, and to be beneficial. I want to be able to be someone that can give somebody some gems or some jewels and on how to navigate through life. And that brings up another topic: our homes. You know, this generation of children that we have right now, because they grew up in a digital age that they feel gives them everything that they need as far as advice. They're going to Snapchat for advice, or Facebook for advice. It's not sound advice. Who are you getting the advice for? People that are your age, people that have no experience. You have children telling their parents, "Well, I have rights. I can go off." If I went off on my mother would knock me out, period, and call the cops after she knocked me out. Because that's the age that I'm from. We didn't do those type of things that children are doing now. So it's all about that age, you know, the age of common sense. But common sense isn't so common anymore. Because look at the way we're driving on the streets. When the pandemic hit, it was peaceful because I was out there driving and there was nobody on the roads. I was like, this is so peaceful. And then everything started to open up again and the cars came back, it was the same energy. No one shifted their energy. No one tried to be better on the roads. People are just as angry today and just as merciless and just as abusive to each other. We have a lack of community. But all in all, like you said, a change is coming. Because with drama and with confusion, around the corners where change is sitting. So we are turning a corner for the better. But you're going to have to be alive to see that change at the same time. You have to be alive to be seen and to be heard. So, that's just my mindset on where we should be. Just some little tidbits of information that can help. That could possibly help someone to have a better life. And it's all about sustainability. You got to have sustainability. You got to have a positive outlook in life. You got to remain positive no matter what it looks like on the outside. You have to be the governor of your spirit. A lot of times we don't have patience. We're not patient enough to wait for things to happen. Everything in life is a process. We have to understand where we are in that process. Change doesn't happen overnight. I didn't change to be vegan overnight. It took some time, and maintaining. You got to be steadfast on what it is you want to do and how you want to maintain it throughout all of those things. So just wanted to drop that information on you guys so you can use it at some point. Hopefully our host will be back, Avi Soar. Soon. Hope you can edit out all of this silence. I'll be sore. Wait till you get back. Yeah, but one of the biggest gems is your water consumption. You should be drinking half of your body weight every day. So if you weigh 150, then you should be drinking 7 8-ounce glasses of water throughout that day. And if you're not doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice, because that's when diabetes and all these other ailments are going to come up. That water consumption is like one of the most important things. My body is trained that it goes to the bathroom every morning, in the morning, before I leave the house. I don't use the bathroom outside of my house. Not doing no number two. Your body should be trained to go first thing in the morning. That's a regular cycle. And like you said, I'll be sure about not eating heavy meals at night. We exist inside of a machine that has a schedule. Irregardless of what we do to it, it has a schedule. There's a part of the time in the evening when the body starts dumping, it's doing a protein dump. But if you're eating your heaviest meal at nighttime, then your body isn't healing. It's too busy trying to focus on digesting the food that you put in there. So your heaviest meals should be at lunchtime. That should be your heaviest meals, and you should slow down going towards the evening hours so your body can focus on healing and not digesting.
Right. You know what? All this critical information, I was just thinking, we ought to come back and do a little health, discussion. Get a few people come together and share some of this, because I've been vegan for 40 years, and people have asked me questions that I've answered, and sometimes I didn't even know I knew all of that. But because doing it for so long, and I'm always studying, I'm always learning, always reading. I never get to a point where I feel okay, I know everything. I'm always looking to do something else. And man, I get asked questions about vegan, vegetarian, body and stuff. And there's never been a question that I can remember that I didn't know the answer to. And couldn't help the people with. But anyway, sweetie, I'm really thankful that you had an opportunity to come here and chop it up with me. We've been at an hour and a half. It's looking good. We had to get back together and do us a little health, discussion. Pick us a topic and go for it. But I really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to shut it down now, because tonight over here in Israel, it's 11:21 p.m. and I need to jump in the rack and get some sleep and ready to get up fresh to rock and roll in the morning. But I've enjoyed, chopping it up with you. This has been Positive Vibe with great Nubian Queen Tirza. And again, your great brother Nubian King. We've been in a nice discussion there on some serious truth. And you want to keep this discussion going, you can come on, chop it up, say some things. Always interested in hearing, incredible, wisdom and knowledge from different people. All right. So you got any final words you'd like to leave us, Queen Tirza?
Yeah, I mean, take every opportunity you can to make a change in your lives. Your life depends upon it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the best decision I can tell you, is take an opportunity to change your life. Your life depends upon it. Be good to yourself. Your health is your wealth. Not trying to convince anyone to be vegan, but to live a better lifestyle. Live a better lifestyle. So, hallelujah.
Mm-hmm. All right, appreciate it. Let's think about doing another show, focus on that diet, vegetarian, vegan. We put some questions out. People can come in and ask questions. We can talk. And I think the information will be real good. Want to say thank you again, great sister, Nubian Queen Tirza. This has been your brother, Nubian King. I had a great time. Love you with a perfect love. Until the next time. Always
Indeed.
tune in to the Nubian King Show. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.